championship, accompanied to the ring by Vice President of the National Wrestling Alliance, Bill Behrens, at a combined weight of 450 pounds from Memphis, Tennessee. They are 6-time National Wrestling Alliance World Tag Team Champions, Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson, and they are tonight's challengers, the Rock and Roll Express! And now, wrestling fans, introducing their opponents. At a combined weight of 465 pounds, first, from Knoxville, Tennessee, David Young and his tag team partner from Rat Town, Jacksonville, Florida, the original chosen one, Rick Michaels. They are the current reigning NWA Wildside Tag Team Champions. They are Bad Attitude.
And Bill Behrens is...
Wrestling fans, welcome to this main event right here on Wildside Wrestling. Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson, 6-time NWA Tag Team Champions right here at the NCW Arena, going to take on the tag team champions known as Bad Attitude.
Yeah, and notice Rick Michaels still favoring that left leg after that attack last week by the Rock and Roll Express. They took that steel chair to the left leg of Rick Michaels several times, and Michaels very noticeably limping. I don't know what he thinks he's doing, stepping in the ring with legendary tag team, 6-time world tag team champs, the Rock and Roll Express. Ricky Morton in the ring, his partner Robert Gibson on the outside.
Wrestling fans, let me say this along with Al Getz. It's an honor and a privilege to sit in here and call this matchup with Ricky and Robert. You know, I grew up watching them on television in the late 70s all the way through the early 80s. But let me tell you, I never dreamed in a million years they would be under the management of Bill Behrens from the NWA. It sort of makes sense, but at the same time, they're so-called bad guys and being booed by the audience. Go figure.
See, I don't know where you get this notion that they're bad guys. The only people, Ricky just hit his partner accidentally. The only people that view them as bad guys are the couple of hundred inbred, toothless, stinking, welfare-collecting hillbillies sitting here in the crowd. As far as the rest of the world, the real world, the educated world is concerned, the Rock and Roll Express, true legends, one of the most popular tag teams of all time.
Wrestling fans, let me encourage you to come out the first and third Saturday of every month at the NCW Arena in Cornelia, Georgia. Al Getz, this match right here alone is worth $20 to get in at the admission price, but wrestling fans, tickets at the NCW Arena are $10. First come, first serve. Ricky Morton into Robert Gibson. And like you said before, Rick Michaels is ailing that knee, and I mean for good, for sure.
Well, now Ricky and Robert still having their problems here. Their debut in the NCW Arena in Cornelia, Georgia. Perhaps they're a little shocked at the reaction from the crowd. I mean, they're used to, when they're on the card, there's usually about 8,000 people in the building, because these guys are drawing cards. And here they come to Stinkhold, Georgia. The whole village of a couple hundred people have shown up.
Oh, come on.
They're used to having the red carpet rolled out for them when the limousine greets them at the international airport.
Here we go. Michaels and Gibson going to tie up here. Rick Michaels off that far rope with a big hard shoulder smash. Up and over goes Michaels with a nice hip toss by Gibson. And he's going to tease David Young, try to get David Young off his game.
Well, David Young's a hothead. I also noticed he's got a little bit of a gut, and that's a new thing. David was always in pretty good shape, but looks like he's getting kind of soft around the belly there.
You know what's funny about this situation is Bad Attitude plays the former music of the old Midnight Express, and you talk about going all the way back to the 80s with the Rock and Roll Express and the Midnight Express, and now you have Bad Attitude and Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson in the year 2000. So I tell you, just a whole new breed of pro wrestlers coming through, but Ricky and Robert still holding strong in the year 2000.
Well, yeah, I mean, and that's something we've seen throughout professional wrestling. The top stars of the last 10 years very reluctant to pass that torch. And if Bad Attitude wants that torch, wants to be known as the standard by which future tag teams are judged, then they're going to have to defeat the Rock and Roll Express here this week.
And I'll say this too, Bad Attitude, you talk about a feather in their cap. If they beat Rock and Roll Express right here at the NCW Arena, this is going to catapult them all the way up to NWA World Tag Team status. And speaking of that, March 4th, you're going to see Team Extreme and Triple X going for the NWA World Tag Team titles.
I tell you, incredible action here in the National Wrestling Alliance. The list of wrestlers that Rick Michaels has defeated reads like a who's who. You're talking about Matt Hardy, Joey Abs when he was known as Venom. He's defeated Farouk. He's defeated Greg the Hammer Valentine. And tonight he has the chance to add the legendary Rock and Roll Express to that list.
And wrestling fans, whatever you do, Saturday night, March 18th, don't miss, because Abdullah the Butcher, the madman from the Sudan, will be here. Who he's going to take on, we don't know at this time, but I'll tell you one thing, Bad Attitude is going after the Rock and Roll Express and Ricky Morton.
I tell you, Rick Michaels just came off that top rope. Not a very wise move with his bad knee to do that. Still favoring that. That attack happened over a week ago, and it still hasn't healed. And if I were the Rock and Roll Express, I'd concentrate on that knee.
Rick Michaels up top. Ricky Morton laying in the center of the ring. In trouble indeed. Big frog splash on Morton.
Yeah, but he landed right on the knee. He landed square on the knee. What an idiot. I said David Young was soft around the belly. Rick Michaels is obviously soft in between the ears. What a stupid move.
And here we go with a double team of the Rock and Roll Express. Who would have ever figured this? This is just absolutely uncalled for, as the Rock and Roll Express are double teaming Rick Michaels. And if you'd have told me this would have happened 2 months ago, I would have called you a bald-faced liar, because Rick Michaels was the most hated man in NCW Arena, and now the Rock and Roll Express are. So go figure.
The things that happen here in Wildside amaze me from week to week. You can't tell the players without a scorecard. You never know what's going to happen, so you need to tune in each and every week.
Wrestling fans, don't go anywhere. The cameras are rolling in case of a pinfall or submission. Wildside Wrestling continues right after this. Wrestling fans, welcome back to this edition of Wildside Wrestling as Robert Gibson continues to work over Rick Michaels on the outside of the ring. And look at this low-life referee over here named Jimmy Rivers. If he's not bought and paid for, who is?
He's not a low-life. He's the senior official of the National Wrestling Alliance.
Well, I don't understand this, because obviously he's turning his back to the action, but maybe I'm just seeing things. I don't know. But maybe I'm getting a little too suspicious. But with Behrens at ringside, you never know what's going on.
Your paranoia is going to be your downfall, Steve Martin.
Maybe so.
You think the whole world is out to get you. You think you're some big shot because you got this tiny little building in Skunk Breath, Georgia. You think everyone wants to steal it from you.
And Robert Gibson and Ricky Morton double teaming Michaels here. And Ricky Morton says this is for you for the front row. And like I said, fans, I am totally stunned, because when the Rock and Roll Express hit the ring, I thought they was coming out to aid Rick Michaels and maybe stick up for Rick Michaels. And the next thing I know, they took a chair to his knee, and now he can barely walk.
Well, why would they aid Rick Michaels? He was going to punch a man who's not even a wrestler, a man who's a businessman, the vice president of the NWA. Almost had him there. Rick Michaels almost had his shoulders counted out for the 3 count, and we almost saw a new champ's crown here. but the match still ain't over yet. Michaels in big trouble. He needs to make a tag.
Michaels, like you said, in a world of trouble at the hands of Rock and Roll Express, who's been in this great sport for going on 20 years. So you tell me if he's not on the losing end of this stick. I mean, 100% he would have a hard time facing this duo. He's going in at maybe 25%.
Well, there was Mr. Behrens trying to help Rick Michaels, trying to untangle his foot from the ropes.
Oh, yeah, Behrens, he'll help you out indeed, right before he puts the dagger in your back.
I'm telling him he said that, Steve. You don't want to get scolded again, do you?
Michaels' knee run into that steel post by Morton. And yeah, speaking of that, it's happened twice, and don't think I'm about to lose my temper also. But, you know,
You're turning red. You got a big vein in your forehead bulging out there. Are you okay?
I'm getting ill just talking about it. But you know what? I'll tell you this. I've got to do what I've got to do to keep 65 million homes.
Inside the ring, David Young getting too anxious. Now he's threatening to hit the referee. That won't get him any favors.
Ricky Morton all over Rick Michaels as the referee's back's turned. And David Young needs to turn around and mind his own business where referee Jimmy Rivers can get over here and break his situation up. Rick Michaels in a world of trouble here, and this might be academic at this point.
Well, Rick Michaels definitely can't get to his feet. I don't know what he's going to do. Even if he's able to mount a comeback, he's going to have to walk across the ring to make the tag, and I don't think he's capable of doing that right now. Spinning toe hold by Robert Gibson. Legendary finishing maneuver used by one Terry Funk, the spinning toe hold. Small package, small package. No.
I thought he had him right there, Al Getz. And they got to cut him off one more time. As this expert tag team combination, and I do mean expert, these guys have faced everybody in pro wrestling. They've worked for every organization they are. And like I said, 6-time NWA World Tag Team Champions, and you can't harp on that enough because, you know, in the 80s, the NWA was bigger than any federation they was. And now it still holds it on when it comes to championship wrestling.
I mean, you're talking about an organization that has been in existence for over 50 years. The lineage of the World Heavyweight title dates back to 1905. The promotion.
He's got him beat, Al!
Yeah, but the ref, David Young's occupying the referee. Finally, he sees it.
It doesn't even get Robert Gibson out of the ring. What is going on here with this referee? Seems to me maybe he's just dropped the ball on this main event.
I think Jimmy Rivers is doing an excellent job in this match.
And let me say this too, I'm not against the NWA. The NWA has done wonders for this company. You know, NCW had gone as far as it could go with my money, but I will tell you this, when the NWA come along, we got nationwide TV coverage. These guys become national television stars instead of a local territory. But let me say this, the problem I have with it is Bill Behrens is the most greedy man I've ever been around. He won't stop until he controls it all.
Well, as well he should, because like you said, without him, you would be just another small-time local wrestling promotion. Bill Behrens is the one who brought you to the big time.
Maybe so, Al, maybe so. Maybe I am too paranoid. But I'll tell you this, it hurts when I get scolded in my own building.
Well, if you just get with the program and say the things you're supposed to say and don't say the things you're not. Double DDT!
Rick Michaels trying to get something going here as he caught Ricky and Robert. Rick Michaels over. And he goes through the legs with the tag into David Young. Here comes David Young, a house of fire on the Rock and Roll Express right here at the NCW Arena.
David Young been standing on that ring apron for 10 minutes, itching to get in, finally has his chance.
He's got him in the sleeper hold on Robert Gibson.
Well, here comes Morton from behind, double sledge to the back. Rick Michaels up on his feet now. All four men in the ring.
Here we go, we got a four-way situation here as Michaels and Gibson and Young and Morton. And they're going fisticuffs here, and we're going for 10 right here on Wildside.
10 illegal fists by members of Bad Attitude.
And they run Bad Attitude together, and there comes the chain from Bill Behrens. Bill Behrens cold cocks Rick Michaels into the knee, and by God, I know that referee saw that.
Well, here it is, the double drop kick, the move that's put hundreds and hundreds of teams out.
We got new tag team champions right here on Wildside.
Unbelievable. I love it.
Wildside tag team champions have changed hands right here on Wildside. The new champs, the Rock and Roll Express.
And they're not done yet.
David Young for the ride, double clothesline as he ducks. Drop toe hold takedown with a fist to the back of the head of David Young.
Rick Michaels is crippled. His knee is probably shattered into 17 different pieces. Now they're attacking David Young and Rick Michaels with those belts. There's a chair in the ring. I love it.
I'll guess you would, as that lowlife Behrens has put the metal chair into play, along with this con of official, Jimmy Rivers. Here comes Romeo Bliss! Romeo Bliss gonna clear the ring here on Wildside, and thank God he was watching the monitor in the back. And I think it's right here, and he's got the NCW t-shirt on.
Robert, the Rock and Roll Express.
I'd like to take that
Oh, yeah.
mic and shove it up
Hey,
Behrens.
Rick Michaels, I don't know what the hell you're doing out here, Romeo Bliss. You're going crazy. Rick Michaels, David Young. On April 1st, we're going to have a little tag team match. You wanted the New South. Well, you know what? You're not going to get them. You get the Rock and Roll Express April 1st right here.
What the hell? He's not the matchmaker around here. He just stuck the Rock and Roll Express with Bad Attitude on April 1st. Hell, guess what the hell's going on around here?
Good. I'm looking forward to hardcore hell on April 1st.
Wrestling fans, get ready. Wildside National Television taping tonight at the NCW Arena.